The San Antonio Spurs bench had one job to do, and they blew it! What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Our San Antonio Spurs went 1-2 this week as they had a close game against the Suns. Well, it was close, and then they absolutely wow, can't speak, demolished in the fourth quarter. Beat one of the worst teams in the NBA in the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then held strong against the Nets, and then got the smackdown laid again in the fourth quarter. Trend we've been seeing a lot this year. The team plays tough the first three quarters, and then for whatever reason, the fourth quarter, the wheels just fall off. I'm going to get to my version of a report card. Drop a comment down below. What did you like about this week? What you didn't like? Who stood out maybe in a positive way? Which player stood out in a negative way? Hit that thumbs up if you like to help support the channel. And subscribe for more Spurs content. Let's go ahead and get into it. It's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. First off, let's start off with Mr. Triple Double with two more this week, just building on his record with the Spurs franchise, and the first the only San Antonio Spurs player besides David Robinson to have back-to-back triple-doubles in a season. So DeJounte Murray, keep it going, just playing at an absolute all-star level. Hopefully the coaches put him on there as a reserve because he absolutely deserves it. A good week for him. I would like to see the three-point percentage a little higher, but 22 points per game, 10 rebounds, 9.3 assists, 1.3 steals, and it's not up here, only 1.3 turnovers per game. That is a fantastic assist-to-turnover ratio. DeJounte's just having a great week. He is our Batman. Who is going to step up and be the Robin? Because right now he's just doing a little of everything, and we're asking a lot of El Capitan. Up next, Derek White. Derek, I'm not going to start this over. Obviously, not the way Anyway, Derek, I thought, had a good and bad week. The defense was there. He was taking charges, doing the things that we like to see on defense. But, man, the shooting, Derek, 35% from the field, and continues to struggle from beyond the arc at around 27% for the weekend. The 6.7 assists is phenomenal. But, man, if Derek could just get his shooting together and bump up that field goal percentage by 10%, which isn't asking much. 45% I think is reasonable. I think the Spurs would be winning some of these games that they're losing, but for whatever reason, the shots just aren't going in. And I think he was like 4 of 16 last night versus the Nets. So Derek just struggling. The struggle is real. Up next, Keldon Johnson. I thought Keldon overall had a good week. 29.1 minutes. He scored 13.7 points per game. Shot well from the field, for about 48%, 39 from the arc, and hit all his free throws. I think he took a couple. DeJounte hit all his free throws too, and I know he took a lot more than a couple. 5 rebounds. So overall, I like what I saw with Keldon. I just feel like he needs to get more involved in the offense if he's really going to shine and produce for this team and be the player that we want him to be the player that made the Olympics team. Still young, still have time. Next, Dougie McBuckets. Doug McDermott. I thought he had a good week. Doug did what we brought him in to do. He hit his shots, hit 50% of his threes, which is phenomenal. For some reason, he's struggling from the free throw line this year, but otherwise, Doug is scoring 14 points in 24 minutes. That we brought him in here to do, and that is what he is doing. The big man, Turtle Power, Jakob Poeltl. Hey, Jakob. Yeah, it was a really good week for Jakob. 64% from the field and 64% from the free throw line. I will take 64% from the line from Jakob Poeltl for the rest of the season because that is pretty much double where he was to start the season. 17 points per game, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks. Jakob gave us a little bit of everything this week. And, man, this might be his ceiling, but it's still a pretty solid ceiling. Let's get to the bench, which I mentioned in my intro. First up, Devin Vassell. Devin, I thought, I had a good week. Shot decent from the field. Got some steals, got double-digit points. And Devin, we're seeing these maybe, once a week, Spurs fans? Devin Vassell gets the steal, and this creates his own fast break, and then he's finishing at the rim. So I really like those plays. And Devin, I think, will be a starter maybe next year. Of course, who gets bumped out of the starting lineup? Doug, Derek, I don't know. Or maybe he stays off the bench next year. Only the Spurs know that. Up next, Lonnie Walker. Man, Spurs fans, I don't like rating any of our guys bad or ugly, but I got to call it like I see it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This was just an ugly week for Lonnie Walker. Defensively, I liked what he was doing this week. 1.7 steals, 1 block. That's great. But we also need him as offense off the bench. And 4 points per game and an abysmal shooting performance with 19% from the field and 14% from beyond the arc. He just struggled incredibly in weeks like this. He can't have more weeks like this offensively, or he's definitely not going to be a Spur next year. Already right now, I'm leaning towards he's not going to get a new contract. But man, a couple more weeks like this, he might start losing minutes off the bench. Man, Lonnie, I hope he turns it around. I don't like seeing our guys have weeks like this. I really feel for him. Speaking of having bad weeks, Katie Bates Diop. I think this was an ugly week for him as well. 26% from the field. Yeah, he was doing his lengthy things defensively, but man, just we're going to need more from him from the bench than this. And rocking a minus 7-0, which is the worst out of all these guys. Speaking of poor, plus minus is the worst out of our 9 guys that are up on the board. Jacques Landale, man, I don't know what happened. Did the wheels fall off somewhere? I think he had an ugly week. So that's 3 guys here with an ugly week. In my humble opinion, yeah, he shot well from the field, but man, that minus 10.7, I felt like when he came into the game, just the wheels fell off. And it looks like he might start be losing his spot as Drew Eubanks is starting to get more playing time, just a little bit. They're kind of sharing time. Jacques Landale, man, I was excited about him, but I don't know what's going on. Is he injured? I know he had the back spasms earlier. Is he just maybe in a rut right now? But if he keeps playing like this, and if leads keep going away, or the opposing team's leads get bigger when he's in there, minutes are going to go. All right, speaking of the bench, let's get to the bench. Trey Jones played 2 games, averaged 6 minutes, rocked a minus 5.5. Drew Eubanks, who I just mentioned, played in all the Spurs games this week, played about 7 minutes, gave us 3 points per game. He actually had a plus 7.3, which for Drew Eubanks, that's pretty good. A lot of the criticism I see in my live streams is that when Drew comes in, the wheels fall off, but he actually was fairly solid this week, and sooner than later, he may be the primary guy off the bench if he's not already. I didn't get to see the Nets game last night, so I don't know who came in first. Drop a comment down below if you know who. Thaddeus Young, whatever. 1 game, 11 minutes, minus 10. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I checked online about any trade rumors with Thaddeus, and it looks like the Suns rumor is pretty much evaporated. That's probably not going to happen because Bismarcky, whoever the guy is they signed that was on Biombo, he's been playing very well, so it looks like Thaddeus Young is not in the plans now for the Suns anymore. Juancho made his debut last night. 1 rebound, 1 turnover, 2 minutes, minus 3. Welcome to the San Antonio Spurs. Once a Spur, always a Spur. Anyway, Juancho, hopefully he gets to produce at some point and not just be a garbage time player. By the way, Spurs fans, you might have noticed I was bringing up the plus minus a lot for the guys that are up on the board and the guys, the last few guys on the board. Our bench was just not good this week. I felt like the games I did get to see against the Suns and OKC, when the bench came in, things just went bad. Our bench really let us down with Lonnie, KBD, Jacques not having good weeks. This could be an anomaly, but we are really going to need more from our bench. I can't be looking at the end of game stats and see our starters all in either even or in pluses, and then I look at the bench and they're all in the negative, which means, our starters are coming in and they're getting a lead or maintaining a lead, and then the bench is giving it up, and then now we're behind and the starters got to, hustle and try to put us back into the game, and it's just, the bench has got to step up. You got to step up, bench. All right, up next, Zach Collins. He played for the Austin Spurs. I know he played 1 game. I don't know if he's played a second. I have no idea. Is he back next week? Are we going to see him at some point? The Spurs got 4 games next week. We clearly need sizes. We usually get out-rebounded in most of our games, especially giving up second chance, third chance, fourth chance opportunities sometimes. Zach Collins, where are you? I don't know, Schwarzenegger was in an accident last night. He's okay, but it was a really bad accident. So, I don't know. That has nothing to do with anything. But I'm an orphan. Anyway, Josh Primo, Devontae Kaycock, to the G League and stay there. I don't know when they're coming back. I thought Devontae looked fine in his limited opportunities. I'm surprised that, he's a 26-year-old, the 3rd year in the NBA, so I feel like he should be getting some playing time. Joshua Primo, I get why he's in the G League. I thought he would take over Bryn Forbes' minutes. By the way, Bryn Forbes, if you didn't know and been living under a rock the last few days, was traded to the Denver Nuggets. Best of luck to him. Joe Wieskamp played a couple games this week I thought was really weird. I figured he'd be in the G League with our guys, but not so much. 2 games, 520 minutes. Also rocked a minus 4.5 to continue with that bench play that I talked about earlier. Let's get some wins next week. We got 4 games. At least 2-2. Let's get a 3-1. Looking at the schedule, the 3-1 is going to be tough, but 2-2 is possible. But more than likely, it might be 1-3. I hope I'm wrong. Let's get to my Spur of the week. The San Antonio Spur of the week is not DeJounte Murray. You could make a case, and I will not argue with anybody in the chat that says DJ was the Spur of the week. But he's gotten to this level now. We're seeing 20 around 20-10-10 is not a surprise. This is what I totally expect of DeJounte Murray. I hope he doesn't have to carry this load every week, a la David Robinson, and now he's just carrying the team and thinking, "Where's my help?" My Spur of the week this year is actually going to be Jakob Poeltl. The reason being, Spurs fans, is this: if he plays like this every week, and this is asking a lot, but if he can continue to average 17 points per game, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks, that's top 5 center type numbers in the NBA these days. I think, or maybe it's definitely top 10. I don't know, maybe fringe top 5, but he just had a great week and hitting his free throws. I did not expect this type of week of Jakob. For Jakob, I usually expect 12, 10, 2 assists. He's been struggling a little block shots this year, so maybe 1 or 2 blocks, but I think he really outperformed his expect. Really, we can. You know what? The heck with it. We're gonna have 2. DeJounte Murray and Jakob Poeltl are both my players of the week. I'm gonna give it to 2 players. They were both fantastic this week, and it's too bad we have a losing record because they just really nailed it this week. And man, what else do I got to say? Up next, we got the 76ers, the Rockets, the Grizzlies, and the Chicago Bulls to close out the week on Friday. Finally going to see former San Antonio Spur DeMar DeRozan against the Spurs, and I'm excited to call that game. I will be calling every game but the Grizzlies game. Taking that night off, and I don't have ESPN anymore because I got rid of cable. So that game is nationally televised. Spurs fans, our one nationally televised game is against the Grizzlies Wednesday night on ESPN. So be sure to tune into it if you get a chance. I'm looking into maybe getting Sling TV or one of those. They're only like, what, $35 a month? I just got to see which channels they have. But I think one of them has a good sports package, and having ESPN, AMC, and maybe a few other channels. I don't know. I'm rambling. Let me wrap it up. Let's get them next week. Pop is, I think, 9 wins away from the record. We're halfway through the season, so he is going to get the record this year. Will he come back next year? I don't know, but no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw, well, there's no draws in basketball as far as I know, I'll be here doing this. And closing, if you're still here, I really want to thank those of you that are still watching the recaps. I put a lot of time into these. Grabbing all these stats takes time, obviously, and the videos are generally long, 10-plus minutes. And for those of you that are still watching, even though the Spurs are losing, I truly appreciate that. That's when I'm at a loss for words. I love the team. Even though these aren't getting views really anymore, I've thought about canceling. I like seeing all the stats. Maybe sharing it too, letting people know if they're like, Spurs Talk used to grade the San Antonio Spurs. They don't do it anymore. I don't know if the guy quit doing content, SpursTalk.com, but they would do a grade after every game, and I love their website, and he's kind of stopped doing it. And just people that like statistics, I've grabbed the weekly statistics for you, so even just share it just for that, say, hey, here's how our guys did it for the week. Because I'm a big stats guy, so I love seeing how our guys did. And if you like it, be sure to like it, share it. And that's all I got, my friends. Until next time, and as always, go Spurs, go!